We begin KVUE Daybreak with breaking news.
This incident was incredibly chaotic and it was spread out over about a tenth of a mile. So without the collaboration of
I-35 is at a standstill at this hour still. A deadly crash involving a semi-truck and more than a dozen cars is shutting down all lanes of I-35 southbound in North Austin. You're looking at our TxDOT camera at I-35 and Owen Tech. That's just north of Palmer Lane. Thank you for joining us at 4:30. I'm Yvonne Nava. We are starting your morning with team coverage on this crash. Jordan Derensberg will have all your ways to get around this accident, but we'll start off with Kelsey Sanchez as well, live off of I-35 right now. So Kelsey, let's talk about what happened here.
Well, Yvonne, first and foremost, it's a very tragic day for families and loved ones. Austin Travis County EMS officials did say that 5 people, including a baby, died in this crash. Now we're taking a look at what we're seeing right now on the scene. Crews are still here working to clear the wreck, which will take probably hours, but there are cars smashed in, and of course people are still trying to figure out exactly what led to this crash. But this happened just before 11:30 last night in the southbound lanes of I-35 in North Austin near Palmer Lane. Officials say there were 17 vehicles involved, including a semi-truck. When crews got here, they say several people were pinned to their cars. 17 people were injured. 11 were taken to the hospital, including 3 children, one with potential life-threatening injuries. We spoke with a woman who says she was parked when she heard the crash.
This is really scary, really sad. There's a lot of fatalities. I heard so far that there was 4, and I've said so many prayers tonight just because this is really sad. And I-35 is so dangerous. A car, nobody ever drives the speed limit, you know. Everybody's always all over the place.
Officials say diesel fuel spilled from the truck involved in the crash. They were able to contain it, but there will be a cleanup crew to clear it up once the investigation is wrapped up. Now, officials do say that I-35 Service Road and I-35 proper north of Palmer are closed and will remain closed until they clear this wreck. So if you are driving anywhere in this area, avoid it and just seek alternate routes. And officials did say that they don't know if anybody will be arrested or charged with this wreck yet. But Jordan will have the update on where you can seek those alternate routes. Jordan.
Thank you, Kelsey. And obviously just a very awful situation in North Austin. And I know this stretch, I've driven it quite a few times, and there's quite a bit of construction going on 35, that particular stretch so far, and it's definitely dangerous, especially when you're cramped into 3 lanes like that with all of that crash, with all that traffic there. So that 5 dead, 11 injured is the details that we have. 4 of those are critical as of the last update. So here are a couple ways to get around it. You can take 35 south to 45 westbound onto Mopac, and that'll get you around that incident in Palmer. Or you could take the 45 tollway eastbound coming in from Round Rock all the way to the 130 toll road. And what that's going to do is that's going to also get you around the wreck, and it can even get you around downtown. And if you're planning on going to the airport this morning, that's usually the fastest route to get to the Austin airport. So a couple of alternate ways to get around this really, really awful situation we've got on Palmer Lane and 35. So a very, very serious situation.
All right, thank you so much. Our other top story this morning, a weather impact alert. It looks calm over downtown Austin, but we have another high risk for wildfires in central Texas. So before you think, it's too late, think about having a bag ready to go bag in case you need to evacuate. Think about packing for 3 days. Your bag should include copies of important documents, a first aid kit, extra medications, a change of clothes, and water. KVUE meteorologist Jordan Derensberg joins us once again with the details on this weather impact alert day.
Yes, Yvonne, and we are talking about the wind gusts first because that's going to be a very main story in central Texas these next couple of days when we're talking about that elevated fire weather concern. There you see it 3 in the afternoon, 25 miles an hour to around 30 miles an hour in sections of the Hill Country and I-35 corridor. And as we move on to Saturday, it's even stronger wind gusts in some spots. So it's not just today, but tomorrow is where we have the weather impact alert day as well. And we're looking at around 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts for most areas south and southwest of Austin before things do simmer down by the time we get to Sunday morning. Extreme fire danger along and west of I-35 today and most of central Texas for tomorrow. So please do not burn anything outside, especially with those strong winds and that low humidity fueling that extreme fire danger. And of course, as Yvonne mentioned, go over that fire plan over and over again and be prepared to evacuate in case you have to.
Austin City Council will discuss the rules around the Wildland Urban Interface Code later this month, and it creates guidelines so that businesses or homes that are next to wildlands are protected from the next wildfire. According to a presentation from the Austin Fire Department, council will consider expanding the zone that would be considered at risk from wildfire damage. Mike Drew is the co-owner of Next Custom Homes, and he says the city's codes could raise the costs when it comes to building fire-resistant homes.
You know, we have metal roofs, we have stucco siding, we have non-combustible wood, and all of these things are necessary. So finding the right materials and the approved product has probably been our biggest challenge since it began here.
Council is expected to discuss expanding the at-risk zone on March 27th. And you can check your neighborhood's wildfire risk on Austin's wildfire risk map, and you can find that right now at KVUE.com. Well, today is the start of Rodeo Austin. The rodeo goes through March 29th, and there are concerts each night, mutton bustin' and a carnival. Rodeo Austin is at the Travis County Expo Center on Decker Lane Road, or Decker Lake Road, I should say, in East Austin. And we're taking a live look at the Texas state capitol at this hour. Today is the 60th day since the legislative session began. That means lawmakers can now vote on any bill, not just emergency bills. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced 15 new priority bills, and they include establishing a teacher bill of rights, business tax relief, wildfire response, stopping taxpayer-funded abortion travel, and what he calls the Life of the Mother Act. Some of those bills haven't been filed yet, so we don't know exactly what they'll entail. Lieutenant Governor Patrick's goal is to pass all 40 of his priority bills by mid-April. And the Senate has already passed 10 of them, including 3 bills from the list released yesterday. They include legislation to increase the homestead exemption, establishing a dementia research institute, and creating a program to allow parents to use state funds to send their kids to private schools. It's now up to the House to decide whether to consider and pass those bills. Well, people who work in the Texas film industry are showing support for legislation to increase funds for the Texas Moving Image Industry Incentive Program. This week, State Senator Joan Huffman filed Senate Bill 22. It would set aside $500 million every 2 years for the next 10 years for the Moving Image Industry Incentive Fund. Filmmakers get grants if they meet certain requirements, like spending $500,000 in Texas and having a certain percentage of Texas residents on the cast and crew. For every dollar that goes into these incentives, native Texan filmmaker Chase Musselwhite says $4 go back into the Texas economy. Senator Huffman says it's not just the big-name stars and directors who will be seeing the benefits.
This is about employing Texans, and it's not just people you see here on set. It's hotels, it's Home Depot making their money back by lumber, it's the flower shops, all the florals we buy, all the props, all the clothing. It trickles into every aspect of our economy, basically.
Well, 2 related House bills have also been filed. In 2023, Texas lawmakers more than doubled a separate tax incentive program to $200 million for filming in Texas. At the time, it was the largest increase the program has ever experienced. President Trump is doubling down on his trade war, even as financial markets plummet and consumers pay more. Nicole D'Antonio has the very latest.
This morning, President Trump promising a new 200% tariff on wine and champagne from Europe. The response was swift on Wall Street, the Dow Jones dropping 500 points for the first time in 2 years, and the S&P closing down 10% from a recent peak. But President Trump not backing down.
Look, we've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all.
It comes after Trump imposed sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports on Wednesday. The European Union then retaliating with 50% tariffs on U.S. whiskey. Ahead of Canadian Prime Minister swearing in later today, Ontario Premier Doug Ford meeting with the U.S. Commerce Secretary to discuss the ongoing trade war, calling it very productive.
We want to make sure we continue building on that relationship. We feel that the temperature is being lowered.
Economists warn that the Trump trade policies will soon have a significant impact on American consumers with higher prices. The Wall Street Journal reports consumer angst at all income levels, saying signs of weakness are showing up in spending on everything from basics to luxuries. Voters letting their opinions known. Nearly 2,000 people showing up at this town hall in North Carolina. Fewer than 400 were allowed in the door. Congressman Chuck Edwards getting an earful on everything from President Trump's tariffs to Elon Musk's downsizing of the government.
Thank you for that feedback. 2.
A man identifying himself as a veteran was escorted out, screaming profanities at the congressman over federal job cuts. Republican leaders have been encouraged not to hold in-person town halls because of frequent disruptions. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
4:41 is your time. Cleanup of a homeless encampment in Southeast Austin. The city's homeless strategy officer is concerned that it was a wildfire risk. Plus,
and we need more basketball.
That was a game. Texas men's basketball hoped to be a Cinderella team in this year's NCAA tournament. The dramatic finish to the matchup against Texas A&M.
Breaking news near you. Show your.
This is our forecast through the rest of the week. I'll walk you through the full timeline.
Welcome back. Time now is 4:44. Another live look at the backup. Look at that on I-35 due to the overnight crash. All southbound lanes are closed while crews work to clear the crash. This is a deadly accident. It happened just before 11:30 last night on the southbound side near Palmer Lane. Here's what we know. A total of 17 cars, including a tractor trailer, were involved. 5 people were killed and 11 were taken to area hospitals. So let's check in with Jordan Derensburg. Jordan, we looked at the pictures. They really paint the picture. Let's talk about the impact to traffic and the alternate routes.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I do want to add that there were 4 critical injuries from that accident. But not only that, look at the backup. This is going to be stretching for miles, almost to the 45 tollway. Look at that, in and around the Wells Branch area. That's where the backup for that starts. And a couple of alternate routes I want to show you guys is 45 tollway westbound to Mopac South. That is a great alternate route for this situation, but also 45 tollway eastbound into Pflugerville and on to the 130 tollway. That is going to take you all the way to the Austin airport. If you're planning on going to the airport this morning, that's actually a faster route than taking 35 down through the city and onto, say, 183 or 290 heading to the airport this morning. So definitely, if you live in the Round Rock, Georgetown area heading into the city, you're going to want to watch this very, very closely this morning.
Thank you so much. Of course, keep us posted on any new developments traffic-wise. Now to sports. Texas men's basketball boosting its chances of making the field for the NCAA tournament. The Longhorns face Texas A&M Aggies in the second round of the SEC tournament. The game required two overtimes to decide a winner.
Taylor gets it off. Missed it. Pope's got it. And they have to foul. And the Texas bench getting more and more excited by the moment.
Texas wins in double overtime, 94-89. The Longhorns will face Tennessee in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. Tip-off is scheduled for 2:30. A police officer near Tampa, Florida, responding to a call of an alligator in a front yard. ends up delivering pizza as well. Body camera video shows a gator walking toward a car in a driveway. A delivery driver arrives with a pizza order for that house, not realizing the gator is there. The driver hands the order to the officer to deliver. She's like, I'm not doing this. On the way, he also stops a customer who at first doesn't realize the gator is under her car. Now the officer goes to the back door to deliver the pie while trappers in the front of the house capture and relocate the gator. Be aware of your surroundings, right? Speaking of being aware, today is a weather impact alert day. Let's talk about just the wildfire risk today.
Yes, it is going to be extreme, and it's not just for today, it's for tomorrow as well, as we break down the details of it. So Friday and Saturday are your weather impact alert days. Your impact is going to be those strong winds and the low humidity values, and that is bringing the extreme fire dangers. So we've talked about this earlier in the show. No outdoor burning, and please review your fire plan and go over that time and time again in case you have to evacuate. Winds and gusts for today, this is going to be a main determining factor in addition to the humidity values, which are going to be very, very low. We could have 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts in the Austin metro, but higher gusts in sections of the hill country coming out of the west once that cold front / dry line moves through. Here's today's fire outlook. Extreme risk for areas up and down 35, as well as the entirety of the hill country. And that's why we have a red flag warning for literally everyone except for Fayette County from noon to 9 this afternoon. And that is because of the wildfire risk that is very, very high for today. Now for tomorrow, similar gusts, mainly coming out of the west-northwest. Again, gusts getting up to 25 miles an hour, but we can have even windier conditions for your Saturday. And this is for tomorrow. Look at this. Pretty much everyone in Central Texas is under extreme fire danger, and we do have a fire weather watch for literally the entire KVUE viewing area from noon to 9 on Saturday. I do want to keep this in mind for y'all that it is likely going to be a red flag warning as well. So we are going to continue to track that for you. Temperatures right now mainly in the mid to upper 60s area wide, winds mainly coming out of the south, and we do have some lower 70s on the map in Mason, but again, those winds are going to come out of the west later on this afternoon, and as a result of that, that's where we are going to get that elevated fire weather concerns. Quick allergy check. Alder and maple are in the high, pine was in the medium, mold is in the high, and we had some alternaria show up this morning. It is high, and you can find that on KVUE.com and the KVUE app. Looking for your highs for today, getting to the upper 80s by the time we get to 5 in the afternoon. Starting off with some clouds, that'll mix out for some sunshine as we get that drier air coming in out of the west, and that is going to bring in those strong westerly winds that are going to result in those elevated fire weather concerns. I want to make sure y'all understand that Saturday we are going to have a high only of 76, but the winds as well as the low humidity are going to be persistent. In fact, we're expecting to be gustier on Saturday than today's high, even though we get to 88. Things should improve by the time we get to your Sunday and then eventually your St. Patty's Day on Monday. We have another front coming in on Wednesday. I'm going to watch Wednesday as well for the potential of very high fire danger. So keep it right here to KVUE. I'm going to be here throughout the course of the day bringing you all the latest on this.
All right, thank you so much. Keep it here. Well, the Dallas Cowboys are trying to make more moves to improve the roster for next season, the new addition to the offense. And on KVUE News at 5:30, you have about a month left to submit your tax returns. The tips you need to keep in mind to make sure you do not fall for a scam.
Be the first to know when breaking news happens near you. Download the KVUE app today.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this week.
Continue to follow breaking news. Your time is 4:54. You're looking at a live picture here. We want to keep you updated on this deadly crash shutting down I-35. You can see it is a very active scene. Right now, all southbound lanes are closed near Palmer Lane. You can see crews trying to clean up the debris. At 11:30 last night, 17 vehicles, including a truck, crashed. Now, 5 people were killed and 11 were taken to the hospital. You can see that truck right there just kind of teetering on its side a bit. Coming up in about 5 minutes, Kelsey Sanchez is going to be giving us an update on the cleanup. She is on the scene right now with the very latest. Now, obviously, an accident of this magnitude, it's going to be impacting traffic. Let's check in with Jordan Derensberg with the impact here on your alternate routes and just what happens if you're needing to kind of get through that area.
Yes, thank you, Yvonne. And we're definitely thinking about those who are coming in from Round Rock, Georgetown, maybe even Bell County, making their way through Austin this morning. Again, that multi-car semi-truck pileup with 5 dead, 11 injured. 4 of them have critical injuries. That's just really, really awful morning indeed. But we are looking at some alternate routes. This is coming in from Round Rock, 35 southbound. You could take 45 westbound to Mopac. You could also take the 45 eastbound to the 130 toll route. And what that's going to do is get you around that accident and back on 35. You could take 290 back to 35 once you intersect with that.
All right, thank you so much. You know, a new study suggests that magic mushrooms could help treat anorexia. ABC's Melissa Adan explains in today's Medical Minute.
People with anorexia have a deep fear of gaining weight. It's a mental health condition that can be extremely difficult to treat. A study published in Nature Medicine suggests that psilocybin therapy, when paired with psychological support, led to promising results for some patients. For example, nearly 60% said they felt less focused on physical appearance after just one session, and 70% reported improved quality of life. However, only 40% showed a significant reduction in eating disorder symptoms, and many didn't gain any weight, which is an important goal in treating anorexia. It's too soon to say whether or not psilocybin will be an effective approach for eating disorders, but it may open doors to personalized therapies in the future. If you suspect you or someone you know has an eating disorder, talk to a healthcare provider. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adan.
4:57, the Dallas Cowboys are adding another running back to the roster. The team added Miles Sanders on a 1-year deal. It's not known how much money is part of the deal. Sanders has played 6 seasons in the NFL. His best season was with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2022 when he rushed for more than 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. In other news, thousands of federal workers laid off in President Donald Trump's cuts to the government. The opportunity to land a new job with the city of Austin. And again, our top story this morning, that deadly crash on I-35 in North Austin. Look at that backup right there. You want to avoid I-35 altogether in North Austin, the southbound lanes. We're going to talk about the effort to get those lanes back open.
We're also talking about that red flag warning in effect for today and a fire weather watch in effect for tomorrow because of the weather impact alert days on both days because of the increased fire danger. We'll have all the details on that coming up.